Thanks for checking out this stream if you are here live as I kick it off, or if you're watching this on a replay. Tonight, I take a look at two of the same, although two of the difference. The Bourbon Barrel Aged Expedition Stout and the Base Expedition Stout. This one could be a little bit interesting. So let's go ahead and check these out. All right, everybody. So right now I've got the two beers here. Looking forward to see how they actually come out and perform against each other. The Base Expedition Stout, I actually believe I have had previously, but it has definitely been a while since I've actually enjoyed that one. So it should be a nice one to catch up on. And the Barrel Aged, I think I've had a while back too, but never actually done them together side by side. So that alone should be pretty interesting. What's up, Todd? Cheers, brother. Hopefully all is well. Decided to do a stream here and actually kick it off with these two beers that I'm looking forward to seeing how they stack up against each other side by side. So again, we'll start with the base version. And if you haven't seen it before, we get it here so you can check it out a little bit closer in on the label. It is a Russian Imperial Stout, bottled by Bell's out of Comstock, Michigan, a great brewery. Always recommend checking out Bell's if you get a chance to. 10.5% ABV on this one. The Russian Imperial Stout thirsts for travel. A huge malt body is matched with a blend of complex chocolate, dark fruit, and roasted aromas. The beer is ready to be enjoyed now or sit perfectly content in your cellar until the next journey. And as far as the details on the back, shelf life that they put on here, give it a second here for this to actually come in. You'll see it says unlimited. So you can cellar this for a bit of time. And actually, I did have this one in the cellar. It was packaged back September 2018, so we're about a year and 3 months out, just over a year and 3 months on this one. The Expedition Stout, that is the base version, the barrel-aged version of our award-winning Imperial Stout Thirst for Travel as well, but perfectly content to sit in your cellar, maturing until you're ready. The tough part, deciding if you want to enjoy it now or wait until later. You can't go wrong either way. This one, 13.4% ABV. Get that in there so it zooms in. And it's also unlimited as well, as you can see there. So then this one was done actually October 2018, so it's only a month difference between the two. So couldn't ask much for a much better comparison. One, to see how they've actually matured over time, and then two, the different versions. So I'm going to go ahead and crack open the base version. Hopefully you guys had a good Monday out there. Today didn't feel like working at all. Tomorrow probably gotta work all day, it looks like. I thought we might get out early, but looking like we'll be there the whole time. But that's all right. I was actually busier than I thought I'd be, which made the time go a lot quicker. So I'm not too bothered by that in any way. But into the glass, nice dark color that you would expect to get on this type of stout. Pretty much jet black, not getting much of a tint down the bottom. Finger of head that sits pretty much as a tan color. Does have some foaminess to it, so it should lace the glass nicely as well. Aroma wise, get a nice sweetness from the malts. Definitely picking up some dark notes. Kind of a feel of chocolate in there, coffee. You get a little bit of a roastiness, of course, with this one. It's got that sweetness in it, kind of like a caramel or a toffee type feel. And cheers, Paul. Enjoy your new world as well. I'll be working tomorrow too, my friend. And Todd says same day, same all day as well. It's got a nice little bit of a chestnut roastiness to it, I would think. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Good taste on this one. Very smooth. You get a nice thickness in the body. It's got a nice after effect kicking of the flavor after you swallow. You're getting a good amount of sweetness there. You're getting a nice velvety feel of the beer. Not overly boozy in any way. The roastiness is right there in the taste as well. A little bit of that chocolate type feel. It's a very pleasant beer. It's a good thing it's called Expedition Stout, because wherever you want to go, it'd be nice to have this one with you for sure. Take it on the travels with you out there. Get a nice feel of, again, that caramel tone in the taste of it. Feel a little bit of a warming sensation. Nice full body to it. Not picking up really any thinness there. That's sometimes an issue that comes up, and Paul will testify to that we see in some of the stouts out there. Really just goes down very nice and smooth on the back end. Very enjoyable beer. Starting to see some of the lacing form as the beer breaks down. For a 10.5 ABV stout, you get down this rather quickly. That would really help you get your buzz on if you're looking to get a buzz for sure. Nice one that would pair well with a cigar. You get the just the slowness of how it comes down off the legs and everything with the alcohol. This has a nice feel to it. A little bit of a decadence in there as well. Check some of the comments here. If there's anything I'd like their anniversary, I love this. Yeah, I think you would dig this one. Todd said, Paul, I bet he isn't drinking it at 1,000 degrees. I'm not drinking it at 1,000. I didn't boil it like Paul does sometimes. Hey, Peggy, cheers and Happy New Year to you as well. And I never had the BA version, but I thoroughly enjoyed the base Expeditions. And Todd said, yeah, Expedition is a great one. So that one is very nice. Let's go ahead and check out the barrel age, which I said again is 13.4% ABV. Oh, this one also, before I open it, you can see there, just so you know, I'm not always getting Rod J deals, or maybe I did get a Rod J deal on this one. I don't know. I don't know what they usually go for, but the bourbon barrel age $7.99 when I picked this up. So you have to tell me if that's a deal from if you've had this one or not. The other one, I didn't have a price on there, so I don't remember what I paid for the other one. So, but for bourbon barrel age, $7.99 seems to be pretty solid. Get that nice cannon smoke coming out of the bottle. Well, this one's coming up, which isn't common, to have a little bit less of a head. Looking at about a half finger head. Still got that nice tan color on it, but you can see right there that the head is less than what it was for the previous version, and pretty much still kind of that jet black color. Aroma wise with this one, you can definitely feel the bourbon coming through. You can pick up that alcohol rather easily. It's got that oakiness to it, a little vanilla sense to it. You can definitely tell it's going to be a nice little boozy trip on this one here. Taste-wise. Someone threw the high heat on that one, son. You definitely have that booziness jumps right out from the bourbon. You're picking up that quality of it. One of the problems, well, I say a problem, it's not really a problem, but one of the things you notice with bourbon barrel age, sometimes that bourbon, if not fully in a strong enough balance, can overtake a lot of the beer type feel. This one does overtake it more, in that you do have to be somewhat of a bourbon fan, I think, to enjoy this one, to have that bourbon come through. I'm not sure it was worth it to go from the base version to the bourbon, to go from the 10.5 to the 13.4, because the base version is very easy, very delectable, very nice and smooth drinking. This one you can get down without any problem at all, but you are going to have that bourbon punching you a little bit for sure. You also lose a sense of some of that caramel or toffee tone that you get in the base with this one because the bourbon comes through so strong. You still pick up a sense of the chocolate and of the coffee. And it's not bad. I mean, for a barrel-aged version, it still has a nice taste to it, but when you have them both side by side, you really feel like, did you have to maybe barrel age this one? I mean, you already had something solid with the base expedition. Everybody loves to see these barrel aged beers out there, but I don't know if you always have to do that when you got such a good quality product already. You get a little bit more of a syrupy feel on the barrel aged version in the texture than you do in the base. You still get some of the flavors that are lingering around, but rather than the aftertaste of the base version really kicking in, you're left with more of a syrupy, booze-filled type experience that kind of is on that back end there, which again is one of those things that might go more to a person that enjoys these type of styles or a more well-tasted craft beer drinker that are used to things being a little bit different like that. I think if you were to pick this up as a new beer drinker and you had to pick up one of these two, the bourbon barrel age might be something that may turn you off a little bit if you're not fully set up on your palate to really enjoy it and know what to look for. Whereas the base version, I think, would deliver a nice, smooth package for you. I mean, this one is just so smooth on the base version. You get everything you really need and what you want to really enjoy. It's almost just like a raising of the bar to go to another level you don't need to go to with the other version. The base is just smooth enough as it is. You get that turn of the flavor with the barrel age, where it's really just that booziness. I mean, you really pick up a distinct difference between the base and the barrel age. When you have them side by side like this, the barrel age almost has a little bit more of a medicinal type quality to it as well that I pick up kind of. It's, if I had to choose one of them, if I just want to kick back and enjoy, I'd probably go with the base version. I don't think the barrel age is worth you having to go to that next level. But if I was having one and I just had the barrel age, I wouldn't be upset with it either. Well, hey, what's happening, Billy? Cheers, my friend. Happy New Year's to you as well. Hopefully you had a nice Merry Christmas. Todd said, agreed, it isn't always better barrel aged, but it's worth a shot. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a shot to try to do that. Hey, Farmall, it's been a while. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you, my friend. Great channel there. If you guys haven't checked out Farmall Fanatic, make sure you check him out. Has a lot of great stuff going in there. He's always helping out other YouTubers looking to grow their channels, so always appreciate you swinging by. Ramon, cheers to you, my friend. Good to see you. Hopefully you're sipping on something nice here this evening as well. And Todd and Billy are both saying cheers back to each other. But yeah, I'm curious if you've had these ones, let me know what you think of them. Again, I'm actually looking at the Bell's beers, both of them out of the brewery here. I'm trying to turn the other bottle here. There we go. I can't get them straight, man. Hopefully that comes through a little bit. I'm trying to get them straight enough so they zoom in. There we go. Got the Bell's Expedition Barrel Age, and we got the regular as well. So if you've had either of these, let me know what you think of them. I think side by side, I mean, you're looking at slightly different styles, but if you're looking at the same thing, Again, I would probably look more at the base version. I like that tinge it has of the sweetness there with that caramel and that vanilla feel. It's such a good balance in place. That chocolate comes through, that coffee comes through. You have a little bit of a roastiness, and again, you just seem to lose that in the barrel aged version. You get the vanilla, you get the woodiness from the barrel aged, but you get that booziness coming through. Not as much with the roastiness, not as much with the caramel as well. So it's interesting. Both are good, but again, my preference between the two is more the base than the barrel aged, and I appreciate a lot of the barrel aged beers. I just, when your base is so good, again, why put it into the barrel? Maybe if you don't have to with that one. I mean, you want to see what it comes out with. People are asking for barrel aged beers. Not terrible. It's just different. So I think it's more appreciated by a more, if there is one, refined craft beer drinker, so to speak. Billy says loves barrel aged stouts. Well, in my opinion, barrel aged takes the beer to another level. It does take it to another level. Sometimes it's a different level, is what I would say as well. I think for in this situation, what you're drawing out of that base is so good already. You kind of lose some of that in the murkiness of the barrel with this version. Now there are some other barrel aged. If I go 1050, the 1050 barrel aged is definitely a good move on what the 1050 is. The 1050's base is solid, but that barrel version of the 1050 actually does enhance it as well. So it just depends, I guess. It depends on how you're enjoying it. Todd said this makes me want to pick up the regular again. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the regular. I wish I remember what I paid for the regular on this one. Like I said, you guys saw the bottle top on the Expedition base. I mean, on the barrel age was $7.99. Makes me think the regular might be maybe around $4, something along those lines. I'll have to check it out in the store and see what they usually sell that at. I can't remember where I got that at, Jungle Gyms or Party Source or Party Town, wherever I got it at. Sure was a decent price for it. So, but if you ever get a chance to check out any beers from Bell's out of Comstock, Michigan, would definitely recommend them. They are seen as actually one of the top breweries since 2010. There was a piece that came out about the top breweries of the decade. They were listed there. Obviously, that's open to opinions, and it's a matter of what you actually tasted out there, but Bell's was one of the ones listed. Todd said he hasn't had this one in a couple of years. I think Eric and Lions fan may have had it more recently because he's right there in Michigan. Very solid. Let me see here. Revelation Craft Brewery in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Does a lot of side-by-side barrel aged and base, plus they rotate different hops in the beer. Let you see how that affects the beer. That's awesome. So when they do stuff like that, it allows you to basically build your knowledge and your experience from tasting different things. So that's pretty solid. They do it that way for sure. I feel like the $18.99 a 4-pack here, but I could be wrong. So you're thinking on the base it's $18.99 a 4-pack. So if they're selling it individually, they're probably selling them between $4 to $5, and probably closer to $5 because they'll probably up-tick it. But at $5 versus $7.99 on the barrel age, I would say save yourself a few bucks and get the the base version. I know sometimes Joe with the Beer Patrol does it side by side. He mixes them together, but I don't see a benefit of mixing together the base and the barrel age because it's the same beer. I mean, the barrel age already has the base in it. It's just so I'm going to drink them separate on this type of thing here. But yeah. But anybody else drinking anything out there as we covered the differences, or what I see as the differences between the two? Again, both are good. It's where your preferences lie between the two. So you really don't know until you try them yourselves and whatever fits your palate, and go for what you like. So I was going to do a video earlier of a couple of the Southern Tier sweet beers, right? I had the Samoa and the Cherry Cordial. I was going to do those side by side, but I may say those for another day. Didn't really want 2 dessert beers tonight, so I figured I'd do it with these two. We get some Bell's beers here in the Del Mar Eastern Shore. Try a tad together. It might help the BA version. But yeah, but it's already in the BA version, right? So it's already in there. And both of these I sat out for about 40 minutes or so when I pulled them from the cooler, because I like to enjoy the stouts. Usually in stouts you're looking 50 to 55 degrees to really enjoy them at that level. So I wanted to get them to a level where I could really get the flavors out and get the aroma out that I was seeking, and I'm getting that out well. This one's sitting here a little bit more. Is actually the bourbon is tempering it a little bit more now. It's still overpowering it, but I'm getting a little bit more sweetness as it actually sits here. Yeah, but I bet it'll be different though. So I don't have another glass to actually put them into it. So I'll have to drink them down a little bit more, and then I'll put them together for something like that, like a final type swig. Bell's won't distribute to the Richmond, Virginia area. I think they had a problem with something and won't send it to my area. Yeah, so Ramon, the situation is Larry Bell, I forgot what happened, but he got kind of pissed off at Virginia. Something that happened with not just your area, but the state of Virginia. So he actually just cut distribution to Virginia. So if you guys watch like Greg's beer reviews, he's in Virginia. I don't think he's getting any of the Bell stuff unless he goes out of state. They just pulled it out of the area, and they're not going to be sending anything anytime soon that I've seen. Maybe that'll change. I feel like it was something at a whim that Larry Bell did, and I don't know what pissed him off about Virginia, but they've got some decent beer, so hopefully they do get it back out there again. These tiers, but I haven't seen anything. Yeah, so that's the reason why, and that happened. I want to say it was back like April or March, I believe. Todd might remember because I know we covered it and talked about it on the Beer Flow show, but I think it was back around March or something like that when he got pissed off at Virginia and their distribution. Don't know what it was, the reason, but I've heard Larry Bell can kind of be a personality, so to speak. So whatever it was, he kind of just said, I'm not going to distribute anymore. Yeah, it does suck, yeah. Speaking of distribution, so before I did these, we went to dinner tonight at BW3, which I'm not usually a huge BW3 fan, but they kind of did a remodeling of the chain, I guess. So we want to check out the new menu, and went into BW3. Didn't get the wings because the wings never really like or something I like as much from BW3 anymore. I feel like compared to other wing places, they're not great. But I had their Nashville hot chicken sandwich. That was pretty good, but away from that, they actually had the Yingling Hershey's chocolate porter. So I did have a glass of that while I was there. So for those of you still looking for the Yingling Hershey's chocolate porter, it is still out there at different places, but BW3 actually had it. So if you have a BW3, they may have, if they get Yingling, they may have the Hershey's porter there in your area. And then I had the Stone Brewing Tropic Lager, and it was actually decent. It wasn't bad. It was a nice crisp pale type lager. You got the hops that really came through, but had a nice crisp, refreshing feel to it. I think it was Tropics of Thunder, and I was looking forward to trying that for a bit, but it was a real enjoyable one for what you can expect from a lager. Like I said, I like to have that hops feel come through, and the hops feel came through nicely, so I was able to enjoy it. The Yingling, again, if you haven't had it, it is a little bit of a thinner type porter. You do have a little bit of watery type feel, but if you like Hershey's chocolate, you get that coming through so clearly and distinctly with that beer. It's just like chocolate in a glass at points. Unfortunate, I think it was around then. Yeah, so when we were talking about when they pulled out, I think it was around that time. Ramon said, just got back from New York last night and brought back a case of different other half brews and a bunch of Sip of Sunshine. That's a win. That's a win all the way around. I need to actually do some Sip of Sunshine beers. We are getting our distribution here now at Jungle Gyms, but I haven't picked up any yet. But they're on my list, and I think the next time I go to Jungle Gyms, it'll probably be Sip of Sunshine and some Modern Times beers that I'll actually pick up. But yeah, you'll be happy with that. Other half you can never really go wrong with. So solid brewery. Other half making some of the best IPAs around. I agree. They're killing it out there. So they're doing a great job on their stuff whenever we get them, which is usually courtesy of Joe with the Beer Patrol. When he's around, he's usually the one that gets those down to us. And we always enjoy those. They're always solid. Can date's only a month old. All right, so you got some nice freshness there going as well. So my closest thing here where I'm at, probably to some of the beers being done by Other Half, and they're not to that level yet, is probably like Braxton Labs. They have some real tasty brews, but they're not to that level. And then Street Side Brewery, where me and Todd and Eric and Joe and his dad Jack, they kind of have a little bit of a feel going that direction, but they're not there to the Other Half level yet. But they're on their way. Candidate only a month old on the sip. Nice. Yeah, that's a good thing with some of the breweries I have around here. I can get them close to the date of when they actually come out. It was kind of interesting. So I don't know if you guys saw some of the comments on the 450 North stuff that I had done. And I had a good comment that came in yesterday, or actually I think it was earlier today, that I responded to, and he responded back, and it was nice. It was one of the guys that actually runs a brewery and kind of noticed some of the stuff there and hit on a couple good points, which I appreciated as well, about the differences you can be on the ABV and why some people don't put the can on it, and why running a small brewery is difficult to actually put the ABV on it, but as a consumer, why you would want to have that on there. So that was appreciative of the information he was able to share, because again, nice perspective from that other brewery. So if you haven't seen those comments on the 450 North, definitely check those out as well. And big shout out to John Clubb, who was my latest subscriber to the channel. Like he subscribed earlier today, about 10 hours ago. So always appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody subscribed. It's been a good 2019. So talk about that for a second. So a lot of people are doing like 2019 type videos, best of 2019, the worst of 2019, whatever it may be, blah blah blah. So I'm going to actually do some things, but I'm going to wait to actually after 2019 just because I'm still tasting stuff. So later this week, I'm going to get into like my favorite beers I've had of 2019. I'll probably do that. I might do that New Year's Day, since I'll be at the house here and it'll be a holiday, so I might do a stream for that. And then also the worst, or I should say the lowest rated beers I've had of 2019. And then some other things, and then I'll have some other videos coming out like expectations or predictions for 2020. So all this week I'll start getting into a little bit of those things as well, if you're interested in seeing some of that stuff, just so you know that it's actually out there. And then once we connect with Joe from the Beer Patrol, eventually we should be able to do our Beer Flow show for 2019 as well, which will be the Beer Flow Awards, the Flowies, as we call them, which will be picks that myself and Todd and Joe have had for the best beers in different categories that we've tasted over the year. Also, like some of the best beer tubers we've seen that are new beer tubers is how we usually do it each year. Like, so when I caught our attention on stuff. So hopefully we'll get that done. We have to catch up with Joe to get that all ironed out so we can get him in here, because he's got a crazy schedule right now. Plus he has all the questions. So we can't even answer anything until we get the list from Joe. But that'll be something to look forward to as well. Tomorrow will be New Year's Eve. Hopefully you guys got some great plans taking place. Not sure if I will or when I will get a stream tomorrow, just because depends on what we're doing. Probably going to do something here at the house, probably not going out anywhere, but depends what the wife may want to do for New Year's Eve. Obviously, if she crashes like she usually does, I'll probably do a stream or something like that. But if I end up doing one and she is up, we may do one even later, because I definitely want to share some of the stuff with you guys that we're looking at. And then if you guys are having a great New Year's Eve, obviously you might be doing that instead, so you might not even be watching. It just depends. But We'll see how it goes. New Year's, as I've gotten older, has kind of more diminished on what I actually do for New Year's now. It's kind of like it's there, but it's like, it's not like when I was like younger. I guess because when you're younger, you're going to the clubs and doing all that stuff and having fun. Like our homeboy Hans Gomez, that's usually on here. He's down in Miami, so he's going to be out there actually partying. Oh, well, happy early birthday, Ramon! Definitely. Well, hopefully you got some good things going on for New Year's since it'll be your birthday, and you'll be partying a little bit maybe or celebrating in some way. Yeah, Todd said happy early birthday as well. Yeah, my birthday will be actually in March, which will actually be. It's funny because Todd and Eric and them are coming in, and we're looking at coming in for the Beer Fest this year, which will actually be March 6th and 7th. So mine will be the 9th. So it'll be actually that Monday. So that weekend will be a birthday weekend. So might get a little crazy. 2-year-old twins, low key. Well, when you have the babies, yeah, they control your time schedule and stuff, sure. But congrats to you there on the twins, my friend. Yes, it's all about their time and what they need to do, and you're actually just following along the lines. Hey, Angel, cheers, welcome, my friend. How are you this evening? And are you up to anything? Anybody saying anything? Like, are you guys enjoying anything right now? Anybody having like a nice beer, a glass of wine, maybe a little whiskey? Anybody enjoying any adult beverage at this point? Celebration weekend coming in March then, right? Yeah. Don't tell Shannon because Shannon will get all crazy, Todd. Don't let Shannon know. Having people over to our house so I can just stumble to bed. Hey, that's the best way to do it. Have it at your house where you can stumble, right? Yeah. Arizona, what is going on, my friend? Cheers, brother. Hey, dog. I was with you, Arizona. I was with you. I was pulling for the Buckeyes. I had the Buckeyes picked. I went to the office today and I was talking to some of the guys and we were talking about some of the calls of that game. I mean, I was just shocked that all that happened. Although trying to go for that block punt, you don't go for that when you got him pinned back inside the 10 like that. If you can't get to it, you have to pull up. That was a sad play there. Ramon said stalks and stalks by other half. Nice. So what is that one like? Is that one of their IPAs or double IPAs? And what do you think of it? Oh, you got a natty daddy, Angel. That's right. You are the natty daddy girl. I haven't had a natty daddy in a while, actually. I need a lot of beer after the Ohio State game. Yeah, that Ohio State game, I can't talk about it enough as far as that bad targeting call for one. Because if you watch the Oklahoma game, that's like what a targeting call looks like when the player did in that one. He didn't launch. He literally put his head to the side and went for the shoulder, and the quarterback dropped down, causing him to have contact. This is terrible. I've never been a fan of the targeting rule, but I understand it for the safety of the players. I just think it was a bad call there. And the interception. They called it an incomplete pass. The guy took 3 steps with the ball, with both hands on the ball. He took 3 steps. How was that an incomplete pass? That was a terrible call. But then there were points where Ohio State, you can't settle for field goals either, right? They couldn't get it in after that big play on the second one from Dobbins that he had down there. And there's different things that happen, but I think knowing college football and how college football is, momentum does play a part. And I think some of the calls there actually were an issue. But the players got to make the plays too. And I think the coach, Day, for Ohio State, played it too conservative at parts. But that's just me. Arizona, Ramon said, just took a shot of Fireball, my brother-in-law. Nice. Haven't had Fireball in a while. I went up a few years ago. It was my birthday. And we went out drinking after work. And it was a bad night. We were really drinking. We ended up meeting one of the Fireball sales reps. Not the person you want to meet when you're out partying. He was just like every bar. Let's do fireballs. It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. Yeah, that was a crazy night. So it might be too late, right? Shannon may know already. Ramon said it's an Imperial that is very juicy. Nice. And then Arizona said the fix was on. Yeah, sometimes you do wonder about some things, and I don't know if I would say the fix was on, but those two calls were questionable. There were a couple calls that were missed as well. But like I said, the going for that block punt didn't help. That was something that the one guy had to pull up, and you're that close, you're not going to get to the ball. That hurt them. But in the end, they were still in it, right? And really, a misread by the receiver and the quarterback cost them the game at the end, possibly, depending, because there would have been time left for Clemson. But the receiver went out, quarterback threw in, and then that was it. So, but I'm like, I don't know, you're going down there. It's kind of like, I'm trying to go for the shorthand receiver if I can, but he had to go for what he thought was the right play, and it was sad either team had to lose a game now, because both teams were playing well. But you think about stats and time, and it seemed like Ohio State controlled that game for like 50 minutes versus Clemson for 10. Just sad. Come on, I lost by 6. The fix was on. You did, but see, I think the NCAA would have liked to had Ohio State in, because you got the Ohio State and Joe Burrow story, right? Joe Burrow left Ohio State, ended up going away because he couldn't start there, ends up bringing back a team versus a team that wouldn't start him. You had a great storyline there, so I would think the NCAA would have rather had Ohio State in than Clemson, although Clemson, you have the quarterback that hasn't lost a game since being a starter since high school. I guess that's a compelling storyline too. The problem is it's so hard for me to hate against Dabo. Dabo, if I was a player, he'd be one of the coaches I would love to play for. He's got that energy and that persona. But then on Sunday, I'm sorry to say, I'm a Mountaineer. We had to take you guys on the hardwood floor during the basketball game as well. I mean, that was a big win for us there. That was a huge win. So I didn't see where we ended up. I know we were ranked 22. You guys were ranked 2 to see if we took a nice jump there. But not the best weekend for Ohio State. That's for sure. Hey, John, what's going on? Cheers, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well as we head into New Year's Eve. We are the eve of New Year's Eve. So anything that you're enjoying right now, John, at this point, kicking back, relaxing with? Earlier in the video, if you go back and look, I actually take a look at the Expedition Stout versus the Bourbon Barrel Aged Expedition Stout. So I actually got both of those here right now that I'm actually finishing out. Interception, 6 points plus extra point, and all the bad calls, all of them against Ohio. I feel you. I worked in Cincinnati. I mean, people in the office, we talked about it today, and there were a lot of people that hit on a lot of good point stuff too. And I'm not saying it wasn't. Ever since we knew some refs actually have bet on games and just stuff, you just don't know sometimes. It was just terrible. It was terrible. It was a rough weekend for OSU, Todd said. Yeah, it definitely was. So, hell of a basketball game though Sunday. I mean, my Mountaineers and your Buckeyes, they went at it well. Nirvana IPA. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see who does that one there. Oh, I'm a Gang. Okay, well, if it's got I'm a Gang on it, you don't really go wrong, do you? I mean, they do some great beers out of New York. I have not had that one before. Yeah, American IPA. 7 different hops they use for that one. To deliver an exalted array of piney aromas and juicy flavors balanced by a gentle snap of bitterness for a long, dry finish. May each sip offer a window to a better state of mind. Nice little written up piece there. That one comes in at 6.5% ABV. I've still got some of the Amagang I need to do from the the Game of Thrones series. I have not. I never really watched Game of Thrones as much, but they had some pretty cool beers. I will say, my wife watched it every week when it came out. And I have a lot of friends that watched it. I don't know why I never watched Game of Thrones. Even she'll say, you would like Game of Thrones if you sat down and watched it, but I just never did. SEC refs, yeah. One of these days, I need to go live with you and talk about that game. Yeah, we can definitely do that at some point here. Take a look at it. I figure you might want to digest for a little bit after the game. It could be the wounds are too fresh to talk about it right now. But yeah, definitely. And I don't know if you collected the Eclectic Beard on Alan's channel. On Tuesday nights is when we talk college football. So tomorrow on the Eclectic Beard at 9 p.m., we'll be talking college for this upcoming week. So I guess we will be over there on New Year's Eve doing that. I got to double check with him just to make sure we're still doing it at 9. But that will be a topic of conversation for sure. Hey, what's happening, Foamy Head? Cheers, my friend down there in Texas. I've been on a stout kick today. Started with Sierra Nevada Narwhal. Not a bad beer to start with for sure. Then a Real Ale Brewing Connoisseur. Commissar Russian Imperial Stout. And now my last, Lagunitas Willet's Coffee Stout. Nice. I have not been able to find a Lagunitas Willet's anywhere here. This year's version. I had last year's version when it came out. I need to check a couple stores this weekend. Or maybe New Year's Day, because some of our liquor stores are actually open New Year's Day. So I might check a couple spots since I'm off. But I do want to find this year's edition. And then we're about like a month and a half out from Undercover coming out from Lagunitas, which is my favorite Lagunitas beer for the most part. But I do like the Narwhal as well. And a lot of people get on the stouts right now because it is winter. A little bit of a warmth type factor in there. Although really, for where we're at, in a lot of places, the winter's been warmer than usual. Unless for some reason you're in California, I guess, because California got snow, which is weird that they got snow more than some of the other areas. Now, that's not accounted for like places like Michigan and the Dakotas and all that stuff. They got snow as well, but when California's getting snow, we're not getting it in the Ohio Valley, which we usually get. That's just weird to me. I'm drinking a beer called SEC Refs. It's really bitter. That's funny, Arizona. A brewery should come out with that, yeah. Yeah, I saw the officials for the LSU and the Clemson game are actually going to be the Pac-12 officials, so they're bringing them in to call that game. So that should be a pretty interesting championship in a couple weeks. I do favor LSU for that one. That was my pick to win it all this year. When we do the bowl stuff today on the bowl games, I was doing okay for a bit. Western Kentucky had me sweat it out a little bit, but they pulled it out right as time expired. The one I did miss earlier, though, I had Cal winning their game. I had Louisville up until we made our picks. I was thinking Louisville, and I decided to go to Mississippi State, so I ended up blowing that game there. But everything else I've been pretty much on today. I got Florida tonight, who's actually winning their game against Virginia, but I'm kind of bummed out that I missed that one. And yesterday, the only one I missed was, or Saturday, the only one I missed was Ohio State. Which they look at the statistics, you look at the gameplay, they should have won that game for as much as they controlled it, but they had opportunities. You can't say it was all the officials. You take that one drive away with the targeting. Well, I say so you take that drive away with the targeting, but that impact is felt all game long, right? Because the kid that's kicked out of the game for that targeting is also a first-round draft prospect for the NFL at safety. So obviously, if he's gone, you're the quarterback in their team, you're going to start trying to pick on the freshman that replaces him, which was that next touchdown play, but you got that the rest of the game. So I guess it did go more than just that one drive as well. Ooh, LSU by 17 over Clemson. That's a big number. Although I saw a few people say they hope it's like 54-3. They hope they bury Clemson after what happened this weekend. Of course, those were Ohio State fans that told me that, but well, the interception should have been an interception and a touchdown. But here's the thing. So the interception wasn't a touchdown. they did stop him, and they did drive afterward to score a touchdown too. Nickelback. Yeah, well, but he's a first rounder from what they were saying. He wasn't like it was somebody that was just brought in there that might have been an average player. He's got a lot of talent. They're expecting him to go in the first round of the draft. So, yeah, I can't. The interception thing just blows my mind. Taking off, Rod. Happy New Year. If I don't talk to you before then. Yeah, cheers to you as well, Todd, my friend. Enjoy, and hopefully work goes quick tomorrow. I know I'm hoping on my end. I know you're hoping on your end for that for sure. And if we don't talk, Happy New Year. Yeah, he's going round one. He's nice. Yeah, he's got the talent and stuff, so it's just you lose a player like that. You got to think, if he's a nickelback, I mean, they were kind of playing defenses to try to get under Lawrence's skin, so he's going to see different reads than someone like a freshman's going to come in and play. So it is what it is. It's a tough loss. It's a bitter loss. DB's got a little exposed on OSU for being so highly touted. Yeah, but I tell you what, Trevor Lawrence was like, 68 yards on that touchdown run or something? I mean, he ran for a while, and I never heard Trevor Lawrence being as fleet of foot. I don't think he's going to do that against LSU. They're not going to be able to run that far. I was surprised. When I was watching, I was like, I can't believe nobody's going to tackle him. I mean, obviously he's probably got some speed, but he's like a lanky quarterback, and he wasn't like a speedster, but the right play at the right time. Yeah, so now I just switched over to the barrel-aged version again. Clearly a difference between that and the base. So what else is everybody drinking tonight? Or what are your plans for tomorrow night? Anybody doing anything special as far as going out tomorrow night? Anybody got anything going on as far as, are you going out, dinner, club? You going to be out when it's at 12 o'clock when the ball drops or anything along those lines? I know Ramona's on lockdown with the twins and with people coming over. Arizona, look forward to chatting on Tuesday. I know that there's a Clemson fan on the panel. 15 NFL picks this year for Ohio State. Yeah. So you'll have Brad on the panel, who is a Clemson fan. I can tell you because we were messaging during the game in the group, and Brad was sweating bullets. So he wasn't taking it for granted on any point. He was surprised even when we brought the target and stuff. He didn't really say anything. It was kind of like, he's happy that Clemson got through to the next round. We also have a guy on the panel who's an Oklahoma fan, and he kind of knew going in LSU was going to beat them, but he didn't think they were going to beat them that bad. So should be an interesting round table for sure. I think LSU will match up well with their athletes. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, LSU, it went from a 3.5 point spread. I think the last is up to 5.5 now for LSU. Keep in mind with LSU, they didn't have their running back Williams playing either, right? So he'll be playing. After 2 weeks later, he should be good on the hamstring, hopefully. You got him factored in now with Burrow and the receivers they got. I think as he gets better, you'll start to see that line even open up more for that game. And I tell you what, it's kind of like, it's sad that what happened before that game with the offensive coordinator's daughter-in-law, but it's kind of like reignited the fire. And I think that game, I think they wanted to get that win for the coordinator, so that's one of the reasons why they won so big over Oklahoma. And I think going into the championship, they're going to try to carry that same energy. Yeah, Burrow is legit. And here in Cincinnati, people are like wanting him to be the draft pick, and I'm like, I'm afraid he's going to come to Cincinnati and get not a good position as quarterback. I just feel like Cincinnati might ruin his career like they have with other quarterback prospects. I'm like, if Cincinnati comes here, they should actually make an offer to the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach to bring somebody up with them that he's familiar with, because Cincinnati has ruined too many quarterback careers. I'm almost feeling like they should go for Chase Young instead and get a quarterback during free agency, but where was Chase Young during that game? I mean, I know he was getting double teamed and stuff, but that's the game you expected Chase Young to actually show up. And I heard some of the guys that were watching it that were Ohio State fans said on certain plays, they saw him pretty much walking, like he wasn't even trying. Maybe he realized he's thinking of the next level. He started making what we call business decisions and not pursuing people like he was before. But that's a game Chase Young you expected to do something. Oklahoma, they have a team, yeah. They don't just make steaks in Oklahoma. They do have a football team. Yeah, he was smart, but at the same point, you try to fight through that, right? Now, he did some things, I will say, that opened up some other players on the line. When they moved him to the inside a few times, that opened up some other players to be able to put pressure on Trevor Lawrence. But those big games, your big players step up. You know, I think they doubled him and changed it and chipped him every snap. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to focus on him, but think of some of your other players that have come along the lines that have faced those same things, and they still are able to get in there and make plays. And I'm not saying he wasn't trying to by any means, although, like I said, a couple guys said they saw some plays look like he was just walking out there when he could have ran down people. But I don't know. I expected to hear his name a little bit more. Arizona said Chase Young will be the number 1 overall pick. I think he should be. I think the Bengals should take Chase Young, get another quarterback down the line, whether in the draft or whether one of the free agent type quarterbacks. Look at like Tennessee getting Tannehill over from the Dolphins, how much it can change. So you don't have to get a rookie to make your team an opportunity. And really, when you look at quarterbacks coming out, even though, you know, we expect Joe Burrow to do well and legit, think about when Peyton Manning came out. And it was between Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, and so many people thought Ryan Leaf was a better prospect. Sometimes you don't know a quarterback, and I think you can do something like having a stud like Chase Young, who would be kind of like, I don't know if he can fully get to like an LT level, but he's enough to draw that kind of attention. And you can build other stuff around them and still get a decent quarterback to pilot the ship. I mean, when the Giants won the Super Bowl, it wasn't like Phil Simms was this great quarterback they actually had. They had LT, and they had the linebacking core, and they had a great defense. They had good running backs and receivers around that helped Phil Simms. So you can get middle quarterbacks and still do good. Plan to barbecue something, then build a fire to drink beer to. Is that for tonight, or is that for something else you're thinking of, Foamy Head? Young is better than both Boza brothers. Think about that. I don't disagree at all. My thing is, like I said, take Chase Young as your number 1 pick. I am all for that strategy. But you know what? The Bengals don't really have a good strategy half the time. So they usually screw up everything they can possibly screw up. So they probably will take Burrow. I'm just hoping Burrow, if you're going to get Burrow, you better get him a line. You know what I mean? Because you're going to kill that guy back there. And for him being an Ohio kid, to come back and play for an Ohio team, that's going to probably help them get some ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to help them revolutionize or change the franchise. Until they get rid of Mike Brown anywhere here in Cincinnati, they're not going to have anything with the Bengals. I mean, it's kind of sad, but everybody knows it here. Like, Mike Brown's the big issue. But he's the owner. What are you going to do if it's the owner? You can't get rid of the owner. Can't fire him. What up, Rod? Cross my fingers that my daughter picks up those Wawa beers tomorrow. If she doesn't get them, she's not getting in the house. That's awesome. That's awesome, Dee. Yeah, I'm interested to see what you think of the Wawa beer. So if she does get them, please let me know. You can comment on any video or whatever like that, or on the community tab. I'm interested. I know when I go to New Jersey next year, but it won't be till August. I'm going to definitely be picking up something to bring back probably for sure. Tomorrow night. Okay, so you have that tomorrow night that you'll be doing that. Awesome. Yeah, and tomorrow night, like I said, when I'm live, I know if we go on Alan's stream, that's 9 o'clock Eastern on the Eclectic Beer, but I'll probably do some streams here as well, too. The Bengals beat the Browns, though. But does it matter? Does it matter at this point? Like people here were happy the Bengals finished with a win on the season, and I'm like, you won one game all year, now you won two. Why are you so happy the Bengals finished with a win? It's kind of like, I feel like Cincinnati is a city that just accepts mediocrity. Like the football team doesn't really do that great. The baseball team doesn't do really that great. They got a pro soccer team that's not doing really that great. But they get one win, everybody's on board. I'm like, they still suck. They still suck. They're not doing anything. And you guys keep buying tickets and going to them, and that keeps them around here. If you stop going to them, maybe they have to do something. No, that would be the Cowboys. Well, the Cowboys, they got their own issues. I mean, think if you're the Cowboys team, you've got one of the top offensive lines in the league. You got a talented quarterback, talented running back, decent, I think, wideouts from what I know about them. I know they got some opportunities there, and they're outside the playoffs again. And Jerry Jones is one that spends money, so it's kind of like they're just I don't know what's going on with that team. It's just funny because the Browns were supposed to be legit, but Mayfield blows. Yeah, they were supposed to be. My thought on Mayfield is that when you come in your first year, you catch people off guard. The second year, teams have planned for you. And I think this year it showed that teams have planned against Mayfield, and that's why he struggled. Now, I think your second year, you're used to quarterbacks going into a slump. The big thing will be how he does next year. Because if he goes into a slump again next year, chances are he's going to have a downhill career. If he can respond back and do well, just like, you look at someone like Cam that responded after teams caught on to him and was able to take the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl, or some of these other quarterbacks, then that gives you more of an upside shot. Although, I don't know what's going on with Cam now. Every time I see Cam Newton, he looks like somebody's grandma out there with the scarf and the purse and the shiny shoes. I don't know what's going on with Cam at this point. I mean, but I haven't watched the NFL in like 3.5 years, but it's when I do see stuff, I'm constantly surprised. Put it that way. I'm constantly surprised. And apparently, the NFL refs still are not that good I was reading the headline earlier today. They talked about the Seahawks game against the Niners, like how they missed a pass interference they should have called. And that basically changed the outcome of the game so that the 49ers were able to win. But there was a pass interference they should have called, which would have been a first down for Seattle at a key moment. Anymore with refs, it's just like anything's questionable. You just don't know what to expect with some of the refs out there nowadays. I don't know what they're doing sometimes. Whether it's football, you see some stuff in basketball, even some of the calls they make in baseball. And like, I was watching Real Sports with Brian Gumbel like months ago. In baseball, they said they can actually have it set now where they have the technology to just make it the strike box, right? You have that box for whether it's a strike or a ball, and it's set up where they have the technology where you wouldn't even need an ump behind home plate, but they don't want to get rid of the ump because it changes the feel of the game. But I'm like, if the technology is there, why do it? Because you see umps miss calls left and right, so I don't know. People want the human exposure to the game, I guess. I will say with the last few college games, though, they went to instant replay too many times where you can easily see when some things what may have happened. Well, I say easily see, but again, go back to the interception, and that was an issue there too, which should have been a touchdown for Ohio State. But I digress. You guys got me off into the sports tangent tonight for sure. So what's everybody else got going on tonight? Is there anybody working tomorrow? Is anybody off tomorrow? Anybody popping champagne? champagne still a favorite for like New Year's Eve? Do you have like champagne toasts? We've got some here. We actually got some a couple weeks ago. We were planning to make mimosas. We never got around to. So we got champagne for tomorrow, but I may make mimosas. I'm actually going to grill some steaks tomorrow. Some vegetables. I don't know what I'm going to get yet. Some potatoes, whatever. Shrimp cocktail, of course. So we'll have some stuff here tomorrow for that. Vegas is now involved, so you will question everything. I work for MLB. They have the technology for the past. Yeah, I think when I saw the Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, it might have actually been last year or so when they were doing a story about the technology they have there. But it'd be interesting, like, do you get rid of the human component of baseball by having to set up technology? Because if you have the technology there, do you need a human behind third base to call balls or strikes? It's interesting. Hey, what's happening, D-Roll? I love grape juice. Nothing wrong with grape juice either. Some people prefer grape juice to actually having champagne. Sparkling grape juice. See, myself, I'm not usually a huge champagne type person, but I drink it for New Year's Eve as a toast, or like I said, I may just make mimosas tomorrow night for that. I would prefer mimosa to just drinking champagne. I feel like tomorrow's going to be a super slow day at work, so we'll see what happens, but I hope so. And get my last paperwork day before I'm off for the holiday. Anybody making anything good tomorrow for New Year's Eve? I know, Ramon, you mentioned you're having people over at the house. Are you guys making anything good there as well? Foamy had mentioned what he was making there too. Well, D-Roll, if you're only 13, you shouldn't probably be in this chat here because this is about alcohol. So I hate to say, but you should definitely leave if you're in this chat. Earpiece in the ump's ears, balls and strikes called down to them. Yeah. But then would you really need the ump still? Or would the ump just be there in case somebody was challenging to come home, to call them safe or out or not? I guess in that case you would need the ump for that regard. But really then you're making the ump just a robot, pretty much relaying what information is being passed down to him. It would be kind of weird not having an ump in baseball, though. Like, if you're just up there, the batter and the catcher, like, be kind of weird. But they're doing so many different things with technology and sports now. It's kind of crazy at times. And a big shout out to MU, Free Music for YouTube, who provides the different tracks that I often use here on the stream. So if you're ever looking for music for your streams, make sure you check out MU's channel. Always dropping different sounds and different effects, and just put them in the description as a credit to them, and they're happy with that. And you don't have to worry about any royalty or any copyright type infringement. So anybody else drinking anything else out there tonight that you're enjoying? Scout, what's going on, my friend? Yeah, so Scout, who is actually on the show with us tomorrow for the Eclectic Beer, was drinking a little bit of the Keystone Ice. I think he was drowning his misery for some of the bowl picks he has, that we're doing on the show and stuff. So, hey, ice has its place in the world as well. And if you haven't checked out the Whiskey Scout, he said no, you didn't chug it. That was Brad's idea to try to get you to chug that ice. But if you guys enjoy whiskey, I would definitely say make sure you check out the Whiskey Scout's channel. He does a lot of different whiskey type things. He's out there in Kansas. He's got a phenomenal basement of whiskey. You find some good stuff out about that. So make sure you check him out. You can hit the 3 dots next to his name in the comments. It'll say view channel or go to channel, whatever. You can go there and you can subscribe and check him out. But he's got great knowledge about whiskeys and stuff. And he'll be on, like I said, the show tomorrow night when we talk about college football and the stuff that happened this past weekend. Scout is the Oklahoma fan I mentioned earlier as well. So hit a little bit hit hard on Saturday, but he said, "Oh, always, brother, always. You always giving shout outs for sure, and you deserve it, my friend. Just starting to catch up on your videos as well. So you're out there in that Kansas cold on a few of them now. I'm like, man, winter is definitely coming at some point. We actually had the weather drop here today, so it's definitely a little cooler than it had been. We've been in the 60s, and today we got down into the 30s. It's like, okay, Cincinnati weather is about to show up. John says Keystone is classic. Yeah. Back in my days in college and a little bit of high school, yeah, got to know Keystone a little bit. Although we didn't really have the ice back then from Keystone. It was more Keystone or Keystone Light, I think. But it was a cheap beer that definitely made its rounds. You could easily find Keystone as easily as you would find Milwaukee's Best at some parties because, you're college kids and you're getting what you can get at points. So, yeah, definitely cut some teeth on the Keystone beer. Wow. That brings back some memories. We used to drink a lot of Red Dog back in the day, too. Which you can still get here in Kentucky, I found out. You don't see a lot of people drinking Red Dog, though. So you drinking anything else now, Scout? Or are you off tomorrow, by the way? Or you got to go in? Or I wish I would have taken off. We had too many people off now that I couldn't take off. But at least tomorrow I get to work from the house, which would be nice. Windy and mid-40s today and tomorrow. Yeah, we had some windy weather here today that there was some alerts that came out. There were some people without power because of the wind. It took down power lines, I guess, in some areas. Luckily, we were okay where I'm at, but the wind was definitely kicking up for a lot of people. So does anybody have, here's a question, does anybody have any, we're talking about like maybe tomorrow night or whatever, as far as anybody that may be a beer drinker, any celebratory beer that you have for New Year's Eve for tomorrow that you're planning on drinking? Anything that you got on hand for that? I just realized I actually have a Stone and Jolly Celebration Ale. I may put that in the fridge and drink that tomorrow as my New Year's Eve beer. So I need to drink it at some point here. Problem is, it's like 58 ounces. It's bigger than like 2 Magnums. And I'm going to definitely feel a little bit of a buzz there for sure. I haven't heard about when I would go out next. Yeah, that'd be nice. Have some time off and kick back a little bit. Hopefully, you won't have to go out until after the first, right? So get a couple of days off there. I thought we'd be off early tomorrow, and I found out today that because of my day job, I work in the financial markets, that the markets are open till 4 o'clock tomorrow still. They don't get off early, so that means we won't get off early, really. So I'll be working at least most of the day there. Like I told him in the office today, I feel like if the holiday is a midweek holiday, you should just get the rest of the week off. That should be a law. Like, if New Year's or Christmas falls on a Wednesday, then just give people off Thursday and Friday. Make it a three-day day off type holiday. That would be freaking awesome. So right now, Florida is up 24-14 in their bowl game in the Orange Bowl, which I do have Florida picked, so I need them to actually pull this out tonight. All right, so I'm going to take the two now. Todd's actually here. He's asked me to do it earlier, so I'm going to mix the two to see if there's any difference. Although I don't think there will be, just because the bourbon barrel aged version already has the base version in the Expedition Stout, so it shouldn't really do anything. Except maybe like dilute the bourbon barrel aged a little bit more. So it does take down a little bit of the bourbon flavor that was in there previously. But the bourbon still overpowers it. You still get the bourbon feel overpowering the base version. Not sure what I'll drink tomorrow other than champagne. Yeah, we got a couple bottles of champagne, and we do have a couple things of orange juice. So I don't know if I'll drink straight champagne or just drink mimosas when we do that a toast. Again, this is based on my wife actually being awake at the time, because she usually goes to sleep earlier. But if she's up, and we do a toast, I may just do a mimosa for that. But I've got some of the whiskeys and the gin up here behind me. And I might do the celebration beer. I don't know yet. I'm still debating, so we'll see. It kind of depends how I feel tomorrow, which way we want to go. Hey, what's happening, Beer Hound? Cheers, my friend. What is going on? How are you doing out there today? Beer Hound's out in OC, Cali. He's actually in one of the states that actually did have snow over the last couple weeks. How California got snow and Ohio and Kentucky didn't, I don't know. Can't figure that one out. What are you drinking tonight, Beer Hound? If you are drinking anything. I actually had one of the Stone brews earlier, Beer Hound. The Stone Tropic of Thunder, their pale lager, when we were at dinner tonight. Actually, wasn't a bad beer. Definitely a hoppier type lager, as more of the breweries dabble in that pale lager type space. Been good on the wagon for 3 days. Going to come into 2020 eyes wide open. All right. So you're not drinking anything until the new year? And then you're going to enjoy at that point, taking a few days off? Now, one of the things that Heineken is doing, Heineken is putting out 31-day 0% pack. So for those that want to take a break on alcohol but like to taste the beer, you can get the 0% for 31 days, and then each one day you can have one of the 0% Heineken beers, which is kind of interesting, especially as more people are kind of going that low ABV type route and they want to try to do some different things. So, Beer Hound, anything special you're doing tomorrow night for New Year's Eve at all? Anything you got going on? Are you going out? Are you going to hang low? Hang at the house? Kind of just chill, relax? Looking at my emails here, one of the breweries is actually launching an electrolyte beer. So I was sharing that on Facebook and stuff earlier. Kind of interesting for people that are in running groups. You know, people that do running groups, after they get done running, one of the things they can say is you do a beer, it actually is good for you. So one of the breweries is making a electric-like beer. Not sure, probably a few weeks, months, years, who knows. Had some goals I need to get done. Chilling at the past, snapping the radish a little. I'm going to jump ride. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And have a great night, my friend. Hopefully Florida gets us that win tonight. So we'll see what happens. 24-14. Just over 4.5 minutes or so left here. But we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, and I'll probably jump off here in a bit too because kind of went through the different beers. I got a little bit left here in the glass I'm going to finish. Kind of a merge between the two. But anybody that may have missed the video that jumped in now, if you go early on, within that first 10 minutes, I kind of talk about the differences between the two beers as well. And then tomorrow, we'll probably throw up a stream, of course. And if you don't catch me here, the Eclectic Beard, his channel tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We will definitely be over there doing some of the sports talk on everything as well. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this baby shut down here in a second. Well, Paul said you ran out of beer. You ran to the store to get more. Great time to run out of beer again. Well, I got enough beer here. I don't have to worry about running out of beer for sure. In fact, I was restocking the cooler earlier to see what beers I need to put in there. I am going to do a look at the, although for craft beer enthusiasts, it's not the biggest beer to actually try, but the Budweiser Jim Beam Lager. I've got that in the fridge now, so I'm going to try one of those at a point here too to get a review on that. But thanks for everybody that tuned in, and I'm going to go ahead and finish watching the game. Grab a little bit of a snack, but I will look forward to catching you guys soon. Make sure you check out everybody else. Beer House got in here a little bit later, but you can check him out for some great beer reviews. You can check out PA Brew News. If you're not familiar with Paul, I recommend checking him out. He does some great beer stuff as well. Whiskey Scout, as I mentioned, with the whiskey, and anybody else in here too. Arizona Timeless does some different things on his channel. Check him out as well. Great people. Appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, probably do some more stuff, and of course, last night of 2019, so we'll see what happens. Thanks, brother. Congrats, I just threw my mouth a little. All right, Paul. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. I will look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Keep drinking those good craft beers. Remember, there's always time. get your beer on. Cheers, everybody.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better come